In the vast landscape of the global gaming industry, there's one company that towers above all others: Nintendo. For over a century, they've shaped generations with iconic characters and groundbreaking consoles. But even titans stumble. And in the cutthroat world of gaming, some missteps can nearly sink even the biggest ships. From baffling business deals to self-sabotaging moves, you're about to see decisions so questionable they sound made up. Today, you're going to uncover moments that threaten to derail Nintendo and leave you wondering, why didn't they just say no? So buckle up, because we're about to take you on a wild ride through the epic fails that could have ended Nintendo. Number 5. The failure of the NES Classic Edition. When Nintendo released the NES Classic Edition in 2016, they aimed to recapture the magic of the 8-bit era. This miniaturized version of their legendary console included 30 classic games and was priced at a wallet-friendly $60. But the honeymoon period was short-lived. Within weeks, customers began reporting issues like flickering screens and unresponsive controllers. The root cause: cost-cutting measures that sacrificed quality and reliability. To keep prices low, Nintendo opted for a generic controller, lacking the original's build quality. And instead of authenticating the system with licensed game ROMs, they used unlicensed versions, resulting in altered gameplay and glitches. By January 2017, Nintendo pulled the plug on NES Classic production due to overwhelming demand and supply constraints. But the real reason lay in those cost-saving corners, which not only broke the experience for many gamers, but also tarnished Nintendo's reputation for quality. No, for the dismissal of Shigeru Miyamoto. Shigeru Miyamoto is a name synonymous with excellence in the gaming world. The man behind Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and countless other hits. But in the early days, even Miyamoto faced skepticism from his own company. When he first presented the idea for Super Mario Bros., it was met with a lukewarm reception. Executives felt the mushroom-headed Italian plumber lacked charisma compared to arcade heroes like Pac-Man or Space Invaders. It wasn't until Miyamoto cleverly integrated Mario into an existing Donkey Kong project that he got the green light. Even then, Super Mario Bros. Had modest expectations. But as the NES's flagship title, it went on to sell over 40 million copies, reshaping the gaming landscape forever. Miyamoto's near miss serves as a reminder that even geniuses can face doubt and that perseverance can lead to triumph. Now it's time for a quick break. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And a huge shout out to our supporters whose names you can see on the screen right now. No. 3. The Fizzle of the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 promised a future of gaming with its advanced 3D capabilities. Titles like Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time showcased its potential, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But despite its technical prowess, the N64 sold a mere 32 million units, far below the NES's 61 million, or SNES's 49 million. Its library, though filled with gems, paled in comparison to Sony's PlayStation, which offered more mature themes and third-party support. The N64's unique cartridge format also proved a hurdle for developers, limiting their ability to include large, complex assets. And it wasn't until the GameCube that Nintendo fully embraced disc-based consoles. The N64's legacy is a tale of missed opportunities. With better timing, more robust support, and a broader library, it might have fared better. But as it stands, it remains an iconic footnote in gaming history. No, 2. Ignoring the mobile revolution. In the early 2000s, smartphones were on the horizon, but Nintendo seemed unfazed. Doubling down on dedicated consoles instead of embracing mobile gaming. It wasn't until Apple launched the App Store in 2008 that Nintendo finally dipped their toes in, releasing the Nintendo DSi App Store 2 years later. But by then, the mobile market was booming with gaming options, and Nintendo's late arrival meant they had to play catch-up. While titles like Nintendogs and Mario's Super Sluggers found success, they couldn't match the reach of free-to-play or freemium models gaining popularity on iOS and Android. The result: millions of casual gamers who flocked to mobile devices remained largely untapped by Nintendo. It wasn't until 2015, with the release of Maitomo, their first dedicated social app, that they began making inroads. But by then, Nintendo had lost valuable time in the race for mobile dominance. No one. Killing the Sega Genesis. By the late 1980s, Nintendo had a firm grip on the console market. But a new challenger emerged, Sega. Their Master System offered superior graphics and a more mature vibe. So Nintendo retaliated with a devastating move, leveraging their dominance to convince key players like game publishers and retailers to drop the Master System. Any hope of coexistence was extinguished when Nintendo launched the Game Boy in 1989. Cementing their dominance and crushing Sega's chances of a foothold, Sega eventually rebounded with the Genesis in 1989, but the damage was done. Nintendo had successfully eliminated a potential rival, reinforcing their monopoly and shaping the gaming landscape for years to come. But in hindsight, such tactics raised questions about fair competition and left many wondering, should Nintendo have played dirty? It's time to wrap things up. Which of these Nintendo fails surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And for more entertaining tech stories, subscribe for more content. We've got plenty more where that came from. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. #5. Abandoning Metroid for a decade. Metroid is one of Nintendo's most iconic franchises, pioneering exploration-heavy gameplay and inspiring an entire genre now known as Metroidvania. But you wouldn't know that from how Nintendo treated it during the 2010s. After Metroid Prime 3, corruption in 2007, the series went into a deep freeze. Fans waited. As Mario, Zelda, and thrived, Metroid, meanwhile, was missing in action. And when Nintendo finally broke the silence in 2010, they released Metroid Other M, a game that was supposed to revitalize the series, but instead became one of its most controversial entries. Fans criticized its clunky controls, disjointed storytelling, and the way it reduced Samus, a famously stoic and powerful protagonist, to a submissive character dependent on male authority. The backlash was severe, and instead of course-correcting, Nintendo seemingly gave up. Then came Federation Force in 2016, a multiplayer spin-off with no Samus, cartoony visuals and gameplay that no one had asked for. Revealed after years of silence, it felt like a slap in the face. Petitions to cancel the game spread online. It was a Metroid game in name only, and fans rejected it completely. It was in T until Metroid. Samus Returns in 2017, and later Metroid. Dread in 2021 that the franchise finally received the respect it deserved. But by then, an entire generation of gamers had grown up without ever seeing Metroid at its best. Nintendo had allowed one of its greatest legacies to gather dust. And that absence left a void in its lineup that only recently began to heal. #4. The Nintendo 64's bizarre controller. The Nintendo 64 was groundbreaking. It brought 3D gaming into the mainstream and gave us timeless classics like Super Mario 64, GoldenEye 007, and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. But for all its innovation, one element stood out for the wrong reasons: its truly bizarre controller. Shaped like a three-pronged boomerang, the N64 controller was designed with multiple grips but only one analog stick. The intention was to offer flexibility for different playstyles. But in reality, most players simply used the center grip and ignored the left prong entirely. Developers were just as confused, often designing around only one of its configurations. The analog stick itself was a major weak point. Unlike modern controllers, it used a fragile plastic mechanism that wore down quickly. After just a few months of Mario Party minigames, many controllers were rendered nearly unusable. In fact, Nintendo was sued in the US over hand injuries caused by the intense stick spinning required in the game. And then there was the lack of a second analog stick, an omission that would haunt Nintendo for years. While Sony's DualShock controller introduced twin sticks in 1997, paving the way for modern 3D control schemes, Nintendo stuck with its single-stick layout. It worked for their own games, but made cross-platform its development harder and contributed to the loss of third-party support. In the end, the N64 controller was a bold experiment that overcomplicated something that should have been intuitive. A system with immense potential, held back, in part, by the thing you had to hold in your hands. #3. Cracking down on YouTubers. For years, Nintendo went to war with content creators blocking videos, demonetizing gameplay, and enforcing absurd rules. While other companies embraced YouTube, Nintendo shut down what was essentially free marketing. Only after major backlash did they ease up. but many creators still steer clear to this day. Number 2. Limited release of Super Mario 3D All-Stars in 2020. Nintendo celebrated Mario's 35th anniversary by launching a digital game collection for limited time only. That's right, they removed it from stores after just a few months. In the digital era, it felt like pure corporate greed. It left a bad taste in fans' mouths. Number 1. Sticking with cartridges for the N64. And here it is, the biggest mistake. While the rest of the world embraced CDs, Nintendo clung to cartridges more expensive and with far less storage. Third-party developers fled to the PlayStation, including Square, who took Final Fantasy VII with them. That single choice cost Nintendo an entire generation of third-party support. It was the moment they lost the industry's crown. Nintendo survived all of this and still brings joy to millions. But these blunders prove even legends can make terrible choices. Which one shocked you the most? And what did we miss? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe for more epic lists like this. See you next time.